Good morning, hello, and welcome, Road to the Horse fans. It is a championship Sunday as we get ready to kick things off. Obviously, I'm not Dan James. Far better looking, especially this early in the morning, but I'm Matt West, host of Road to the Horse, alongside the legendary horseman himself, Mr. Craig Cameron. And Craig, you and I were just talking a couple of moments ago before we kicked things off. It has been an interesting couple of rounds, to say the least.
Well, it's been very exciting, and I think this year is probably maybe going into Championship Sunday the tightest points that have ever been. I mean, there's 8 points separating the leader from second, 13 points back to third, and then because Rochelle received a few penalty points, she's right back. But so many points at stake with the Super Sunday coming up that it's anybody's ball game. It's neck and neck. Anybody could take the championship.
I want to dive right into it because you brought it up. There were so many people in the live audience yesterday that almost booed Stormy when he was talking about the rules and talking about the penalties. Here's the thing. Rules are rules. It's not like they just formulated these rules as it was happening. These competitors have had those rules for quite some time. They've had meetings that I know they've set in on. I've set in on them in the past, and they are very detailed about every specification listed in those rules. She admitted yesterday she knew the rules. It was her fault.
Well, she knew. Rachel was right up front about it. Yeah, my horse got away. He was out in the open area too long, and those penalties are levied immediately. So again, you can't break the rules, and we have rules there in place as a structured thing, and really to protect the horses.
I love Stormy's comment, though. I am just
I'm
the
the
messenger. That's exactly how I feel.
They were booning because she's got a lot of fans out there, and she's done a great job. And her horse is probably the horse that's trying to get along maybe the most. But you know, when we talk about the horses, boy, who really came from behind yesterday, Sarah Dawson, really sticking by her guns in the first round, saying, I really like this horse. And by the time she finished yesterday, scoring 408 points, the leader of that round, man, that horse looked good.
What I love about Sarah Dawson this week is she has been so even keel. From the moment she stepped into the round pen, it started even back before then. It started the first time she laid eyes on these great horses, and then it carried over. The first time she stepped into the round pen when she came back for round number 2, everything she has done has been even her interviews. She shows no emotion. But I tell you, a guy that does show a lot of emotion, we're going to bring him in right now. Carter Edmondson. One of the great things about Road to the Horse is every Sunday morning we start off with a little church service led by this man, Carter. First of all, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Well, thank you.
Good morning, Carter.
Carter Edmondson not only has a passion for what he does on Sunday mornings, Carter has quite possibly, and him and Nick Dowers are running a tight race for the greatest mustache at Road to the Horse. That is huge.
What an honor. What an honor.
What a great accomplishment, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, Carter again leads our Sunday morning devotional, and you know, this guy's a cowboy by trade, but again, you know, this is something that's. How did you get involved with Road to the Horse anyway, and leading the Cowboy Church on Sunday morning here at the All-Tech Arena?
Well, I guess you could say by the grace of God. I don't know would be the correct answer at this point, but honestly, Tootie and Steve are my aunt and uncle. Steve was my uncle, and so that's kind of my connection. And we originally came. I've got 2 girls who are now grown up nearly, but they rode and carried the flags in the openings, and so we came to help with Road to the Horse. And the church service at that time wasn't something that was offered, and I've got a passion for the Lord and what He's done in my life, and actually pastor a church back home now, and so it just kind of evolved. The first Sunday we ever had a church service, it was talked about, and we said, well, how about doing this? And they just opened the doors, and we met on the end of the arena over at Murfreesboro, I believe it was at that time, and there was about 200, and they began to see that there was a lot of people that was interested in something like that. And I think that's part of Road to the Horse is we want to offer something for those people that are here that are going to be beneficial while they're here in a lot of different areas. And so that's kind of the basis of how that got started.
Isn't it amazing? Wherever people are gathered, he's there. All you got to do is open the doors.
Absolutely.
And you've opened the doors year after year after year. Tell us who Carter is when you're away from Road to the Horse, because you said you have a passion for the Lord. It's not just like you show up once a year and this is what you do.
Yeah, I mean, don't have time to tell that story really, but I mean, my background when I'm at home, I mean, we're a country family, grew up in the country, a rodeo background. You know, I rodeoed professionally all over the United States and Canada for nearly 20 years, and that's what I grew up doing. And then we have farm and ranch, have cattle and bale and sell hay, and like I said, I've got a family, and so when I'm not here, I'm at home and going like everybody else, every other dad, to ball games and every other function. And then I do, as I said, pastor a church in Sweetwater, Texas. And so there's a lot going on at home.
So if anybody's around Sweetwater, they can just slide in on any Sunday morning.
Absolutely. Bethel Assembly in Sweetwater.
There you go.
They call us the Cowboy Church. Funny, but we're really not. We're just a church.
Just a church.
People, the common people that love the Lord, you know.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. You don't have to be a cowboy.
No.
You don't even have to be a Christian. Come through the doors and you got something to say, right?
Absolutely. We'd love to have you anytime.
The guy stays so busy. I just figured it out. That is the magic ingredient behind the mustache. Is he doesn't have time to stop and shave.
That's right. You know, funny, the thing about the mustache is I really only grow it for this. And so this week.
You started like 4 days ago or what?
Well, not 4 days ago, but in November this year at the church, we had No Shave November contest. And so I started in the middle of November. And I'll shave it this week when I leave, but it reminds Tootie
I didn't know that.
of my Uncle Steve, and so that's kind of part of the deal. When I come here, it reminds her it's like having part of him here, and that's really the only reason she keeps bringing me back, because it's something. You know
what? I think there's something deeper than that. I think that's the only reason she brings all of us back. I think her love for the horse and her love for that man is what keeps this thing going.
Absolutely.
Really
looking over everything, the horses, the contestants. You know, there's an aura here that is just, you can only call it one thing. And I tell you what, it's all about him. So, you know, I think it's just been a great event. And Carter, you add so much to it. And you'll be working at what time this morning?
The church service actually starts at 9 o'clock here in just a few minutes, and so about 20 minutes or so. And so, yeah, if you're listening around, we'd love to have you stop in.
If you're sitting in your car right now, and I know a lot of you are sitting there watching it on your smartphone because you want to see Craig and Dan every morning, come on in. The doors are going to be open, and I guarantee you Carter's going to deliver an awesome message. Always do, brother, and I don't think we tell you enough how much we appreciate what you do for us.
Well, we appreciate you guys, and thanks for the opportunity to just come and be a part of what you guys are doing.
I know you got to go get ready and get ready to bring
Thank
the
you,
word.
Carter.
So thanks so much for taking the time and stopping by with us, Carter Edmondson. We'll see him. Jack of all trades. He's not going to stop when the sermon's over, because he's going to be back behind a gate somewhere.
No,
it's a great thing about this. We all pitch in. Everybody does everything.
Yeah, everybody's working. It's kind of like a ranch. Everybody's got a job, and you really got to be a little bit of a jack of all trades as you're working behind the scenes here. Everybody's doing a little bit of everything.
And the crazy thing about it is, you know, you said it's kind of like a ranch. Everybody has to do everything. The folks from the 4-6s, they're cowboys, but they've got a cowgirl leading the remuda here this year. And so I
Jessie, she's done a great job. And I mean, when she brought that remuda in, I mean, full throttle, boy, the hair on everybody's neck definitely stood up.
It's intimidating.
It
really
is intimidating.
That might be the most intimidating cowgirl I've ever met in my life.
Well, we're talking about the event. It's Super Sunday, and the girl that's in first place is Kate Newbert.
Speaking of intimidating cowgirls, let's bring her in right now. After the first 2 rounds, she is in the driver's seat. Kate, good to see you this morning. How you feeling?
I feel great.
You should feel great.
Yeah.
2 rounds in a row.
Pretty excited.
You've had a great performance so far. Let's talk a little bit about the horse and what you're expecting here today.
I was really happy with how my horse came through yesterday. Even though I didn't ride him out, I think today, you know, having a little bit more room and having kind of, you know, the communication that we had yesterday, I think he's going to be real free out there and kind of happy to have somewhere to go and hopefully carry me around. And
I think you're exactly right. You know, when he sees a little bit of daylight, you're going to have quite a bit more forward movement. And at that point, again, it comes about the control, getting through that obstacle course. A lot of points at stake out there this morning, Kate.
Yeah, and one thing I like about that horse is he's pretty brave.
Yeah.
You know?
He has been brave. You know, by the end of the day, I like the way you were just negotiating around those, and he seemed to be listening and following that feel, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, he's pretty into those, you know, different. When I show him new stuff, he's like, okay, we can handle that.
I think that's one of the good things about being, the way they raise them at the 4-6s. They're turned out. It's they're used to different things, different terrain, different obstacles. Gullies and that. They're real natural, and they get real sure-footed, and they are brave right there. Of course, this time the herd is just going to be you and that horse, and he's going to really be depending on you for support. It really is a team effort out there.
It really is. I tried to pick the horse to win it. And it's important to be confident, but it really is about that teamwork. If we can work together well, that's the person that wins today is going to be the best team, with their horse.
Well, do you have any special plans, any plan of attack out there? You don't know what the obstacle course is exactly right now. Nobody knows for sure, but you've seen past events, probably watched it, studied it, getting ready. Any plan of attack for today?
I don't think in the round crowd, I don't think I'm going to have to do too much preparation with what we did yesterday. I'm going to get livened up right away and then open that gate and get to sailing around the arena a little bit and let him stretch out and move around. And I don't want to use him up, but I'm just going to let him
I got to be honest with you.
there.
I agree with that 100%. I wouldn't stay in there too long. I'd get out, get him used to things, to get things started, because once you get going, you're going to need that time. You don't want to feel rushed out there.
No, no. And that's what I like about this format, it's still new. Everything's still new to these colts. And so we have that time and that space within today to work on a few things and, continue to just introduce them to things. We're not going to try and force them through anything. We have
Absolutely.
that time it's still their third ride, their third day. So
I like the fact that you said you're going to liven up really quickly, because I'll be honest with you, when I met several of these ladies, I thought, man, they're just so mild-mannered and so quiet and so calm. But when you stepped into the round pen, it's almost like you took on a different persona. All of these ladies, like you came there with a job to do, and showed us why exactly we're celebrating the cowgirl. I've been very, very impressed.
Thank you very much.
See what I mean there, and then I put her right back into submission with the. I told him earlier. I said, you start talking to these girls, they're so even kill, all the time. But when you get in there to do your job, it's like you flip a switch and it's totally different.
That is our element, you know. And as far as the intensity, I mean, you see who I ride with.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine the two of them starting colts together, there's a lot.
I've been with them starting colts before, and I'll tell you what, they get after it, then they don't mess around. They give those horses a job to do, and I think that's important.
They get right after it.
And it's also about working with the horse and never against the horse.
Yeah. So
that's important stuff.
I gotta say though, this is being my first experience with Road to the Horse, and not really knowing what's this gonna be like, not knowing what to expect. You guys are great. What a great crew that's running things.
I was just about to ask, throw the scores away, throw the competition away. How much fun is it to be here and just to be a part of this? Because as a fan, I get caught up in every single moment. Every time I, get an opportunity to talk with Craig, or get to hang out with Dan James, or get to listen to Chris Cox, or watch you ladies. How easy is it to just get wrapped up in everything and still be a fan even in the heat of competition?
It's really easy to just enjoy it and have fun. Not only the girls that I'm competing against, but Road to the Horse crew, Kentucky Horse Park crew. You can tell everybody's really excited and happy and passionate to be here. And then on top of that, the fans have been great.
They're unbelievable.
They've
got such a
passion. So many great conversations with people from parts of the country I've never been to, and that's what's so cool about it.
I want to bring up something that, and I don't know if we've ever even talked about this. I know I had this conversation a couple of times this weekend. The camaraderie between the four competitors is genuine.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my brief time of being here for the past few years, I don't know that I've ever seen such a heated competition where as soon as those colts left the arena, all of the competitors were talking and laughing and smiling and genuinely enjoying being around the other competitors. Let's be honest, because there's something about some of the guys that have been here in the past that said, you know what, I'm here to win. Don't talk to me. I'm focused. You girls are just loving every second of this.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's really cool dynamic that way.
But let's be honest. Let's get a little locker room talk. Which one of the girls do you not like? Come on, tell us. Tell us. She's not going to say anything. One of these girls is going to fold. I'm going to get them to admit it. Hey, you got a couple of knuckleheads running around over here. Why don't you introduce these guys?
They look nervous.
One of them's got a Yeti, and I don't think it's coffee. They look You introduce them to us. Bring them. I know since they're just hanging out here, you're going to have to go do all the work. So why don't you bring these guys in here?
Well, I'll tell you, last night they kept me up. They said, all right, let's watch that final round from last year. Let's break it down. Let's talk through this whole deal. So we got a little less sleep, but we're pretty excited about it. So come on in, guys.
Which meant they were wired and they didn't. They wanted an excuse to stay up all
night.
night.
That probably is coffee.
It probably is, trying to stay awake. All right, who we got here? We'll bring these guys a little closer.
My pen wrangler, right here. This is Luke.
Luke.
And my older brother Jim.
And
who's
Jim.
Been
all right.
Awesome help as well, and really key in this whole process and helping me be confident and think through things.
You know, we see like Rochelle has Sean Patrick, a guy that they've worked so closely with. And I'll ask you, because I know you got to get, but before we let you go, how much fun is it to have so much of the family here and be a part of this?
It's been really special, like just one of a kind opportunity. Really, that's
good.
Pretty
good.
neat.
Well, I can tell you what, we have certainly enjoyed watching your performance. Really, really looking forward to today. It's going to possibly be the tightest road to the horse race we've ever seen. So you've been successful so far. Keep these two knuckleheads in line. I'm going to make them stay here while you go get everything ready. Kate Newbert, thank you so much for stopping by this morning. Good luck today. Looking forward to it.
Kate, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, cowgirl.
I got you.
Come on in, guys.
I got you back.
You know, these two guys.
Sit down.
I got to tell you something about these two guys. These are cowboys right here. And these guys live the life every day. They've started countless horses, and that's what they do. Their dad, Brian Newbert, what I call one of the original clinicians. And you guys are still keeping it going. So you got to be proud of Kate out there. She's doing a good job.
I'm going to ask you a question. You guys are cowboys. Is she the best cowboy in the Newbert family? Is the girl the best cowboy in the Newbert family? And don't lie, because she can go back and watch this and probably put a thumping on you.
She does a good job.
She does a real good job. Yeah.
She does a great job.
Sometimes when you're sitting on the side, Luke, you know, you're sitting on the side. Is there times when you just want to go, God dang, let me in there. I want to work that horse right there.
About an hour and 45 minutes worth of time. Like that's all I want to do is to get in there and just help her, not just to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to. Like, to tell you the truth, I just want to have another one in there to start with her. Like, it's hard sitting outside. I've never sat there and
hard to sit outside.
Horses much,
you know, and
like,
your competitive nature, plus just wanting to do the job. You know, now there's some things that she's done or not done that you think she should have done.
Well,
Careful.
Yeah. You know, we talked about some stuff. I thought she should be a little more aggressive. And the second day she was.
I agree with that.
It's my opinion that she just needed to be a little bit more aggressive and step it up a little bit.
You bet. Break him loose and get that bond going.
Don't overexpose him, but expose him.
Exactly right.
You bet. Go to it and see how much you can get done.
Yeah.
You know, and
well,
so
I think she did a better job yesterday getting after him.
100% agree with that.
Now, Jim, I got to ask you something. How come it was Luke that got to be the pen wrangler and not you? Was that a flip of the coin or something?
I don't know either. I would have done it if she would have asked me too. So it didn't.
But she didn't
matter
even
to me.
ask you.
No,
so it's
she
not like you
didn't.
turned it down.
I didn't know.
She just acted like he wasn't there. Or
That's
something.
right. That's
okay,
right,
talk me through the relationship. I'm assuming you're the youngest.
Yes, sir.
And then she's in the middle.
Yep.
And then you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe you're too old.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Maybe she thinks you're too old,
Yeah,
and you're
right.
already set in your ways,
Wasn't
and she's still got a
fast
handle
enough
on
for
little brother.
Yeah.
Or maybe she understands that little brother still looks up to her and
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
"If I say get that log, you'll get that log." You think there's something to it?
That might be.
Is that true?
I do
Is
it-
she that way around the house?
No, not much.
Okay,
no,
she doesn't boss you around.
No, she's a good sister. We get along real good. Me and Kate have lived together and worked together probably more than Jim and her. Like, we spent some time together, a couple years together, and different times.
Y'all
in
are
our
pretty
life,
good
and,
friends, in other
we
words.
showed
So,
some horses together and spent
okay,
more time
so
around
are you
instead of
happy with
working.
the horse that you picked overall? I mean, right now she's on the leaderboard 2 days in a row up on top. But are you happy with that horse, or would you have chosen a different one? What did y'all talk about on that?
My first pick was 7.
Was the 7? You know, he was the one that was so naughty out there,
Yeah,
and a lot of the girls were interested in him until he started acting
They all
up.
had him as
Yeah.
their number 2 pick.
And
Yeah.
see, he was my number 1 pick, because,
Yeah.
but I liked that fact that he was running and bucking
Yeah.
and playing and that,
Yeah.
and he was real bold. He
Yeah.
just trot up and come up, just
A
out
lot
of
of
the
them
horses.
backed off
only-
thinking,
he did, and that's,
thinking he was too dominant, though. It might
Yeah.
take extra time,
yeah,
I think. so.
and so that was my pick, but it was him or the buckskin. We had it, and I really tried to not influence her. That was my pick. You pick what you want to do. It's your deal, and and that's, we all had a little different. But he was right there on all of our pick, and the buckskin was right up there. So, but I think he's going to be all right for her.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's going to be a big day today. You're going to be in close quarters right there, kind of helping her right there.
Yeah.
And Jim, I know the whole family's pulling for Kate.
Yeah, for
she's
sure.
she's been super so far. Hey, one more day to go.
Let me ask you
Championship
this.
at stake.
As the older brother, do you give the pin wrangler advice? That's something we never talk about.
Yeah.
Does the pin wrangler get advice?
Yeah, we talk about everything. I mean, we're talking through it, and everybody's throwing their 2 cents.
It's a family
in, so,
affair, isn't
Yeah,
it?
And it is for
And
sure.
I think that's what's cool.
That's kind of the way that we've always done it. I mean, ever since everybody kind of just gets together and does the job. So
When you grow up as a family and this
Yeah.
is what you do,
Yeah.
you show up here just because it's a competition.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything
yeah.
changes.
And if somebody's got a better idea, you just throw it out there, and so that's kind of
And ultimately, the sister's going to win, and her idea's better than both of yours.
We can't tell her what to do. We can just make suggestions.
There you
so,
go.
yeah.
Fellas, thanks for stopping by
Yeah,
this
you
morning.
bet. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Continued success. Good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Don't get too nervous out there, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Well, see you out
How
there.
cool is that?
You know,
I
what
love
what a
I
great
love it.
American cowboy family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. That's who they are. There's not many people who don't know who Brian Newbert is, and these guys are keeping the tradition alive. And man, to watch them work, these guys would be great competitors to have here at Road to the Horse.
I want to talk about the 7 because
That's 7 horse.
we have visited about it quite a few times this week already. The 7 was the number 2 pick for a lot of the girls, even after watching him do his thing and the life that he has. What's the correlation or what's the difference when you look at a horse like that and you think, man, he would be fun if I had him for a year, as opposed to I've got an hour and 45 minutes twice, and then I've got to jump into an obstacle course.
Well, I think a lot of the girls liked the way he was quiet back there. He wasn't afraid to come up. But then when he got out there, when they ran the remuda, boy, he showed so much life. And as Vicki Wilson said, when he started acting nasty, that's when I backed off him, because sometimes maybe you don't want the most dominant horse, because that horse might take more time. And what happens is this is a timed event. So again, they changed their thoughts a little bit and maybe went to a different choice.
Chris Cox brought up a good point yesterday. You have to adjust as a person. You have to adjust your ideology in selecting those horses, because it is a condensed version of starting this colt.
Well, I tell you what, when you're out there in the pen, to fit that horse, you're making adjustments literally from moment to moment to fit that horse, fit that situation, and fit that circumstance.
You talk about how great the Newbert family is. One of my favorite families, not just at Road to the Horse, one of my favorite families on the planet is the Winters family. And I've been joined by Richard so many times, but the best member of the family with a new name, Sarah Dawson. I didn't get it wrong this time.
Yeah, you got it right.
I got it
Well
right.
done.
You've been
Well
getting
done.
a lot of things right here this week.
Been working at it.
You've been working at it, and it's been paying off. We've been talking about it. We're big fans.
Oh, thanks.
So talk us through the first 2 rounds.
First 2 rounds. My colt's been tough, like especially on the ground. He just kind of defensive and a little standoffish, and just doesn't really like me just approaching him, But this competition is a little tricky because you only have so much time, and so I couldn't really take as much time as a person might want to with him. So you kind of had to get in there and break some of those barriers loose. And after the first day, we tried to just set a really solid foundation with that, where we can pick up on the second day. And it really wasn't until I rode him that first time that he really let down kind of where I wanted him to be, and really got his mind with me to where I can start working with those obstacles a little bit more. And he was kind of taking it more mentally than he was before. So it took a little bit longer to kind of break through mentally with him, but when we did make that breakthrough, it was a huge change. And so I really liked that about the second round.
When you were working out there, one thing I mentioned to Matt this morning, that you really stuck by your guns. You kept saying, I like this horse, when a lot of people that horse was making a lot of people nervous for you. But I tell you what, you were just methodical. And I tell you, the thing that I mentioned in my commentary, I noticed the change in that horse. He had been so standoffish, and then by the time you finally got that beautiful ride done, turned loose, big soft reins, just making those small corrections out there. Incredible job. Again, she scored a 4:08 yesterday. When you got off that horse to take your break, that horse on his own walked right up and stood next to Richard and Sarah right there. And that was a big change in his attitude, the look in his eye, everything. I think that horse really started looking for you and making that bond that's so important.
How good is that feeling? Because you talked about it. It took a little longer to kind of break through some barriers. But when you walk out of the pen and that horse comes to you looking for that partnership, looking to make that connection, what does that feel like? How good does that feel to know that you have made that much progress?
I mean, that's what we're all shooting for, is to develop that connection, and it takes longer with some than others. But I mean, it was really nice that we were able to get that made. I mean, it didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to, but that's horses for you. They're all a little bit different, and you just kind of have to deal with what you got and trust in your program and stick with it, and just
that's exactly
believe
what
that
you
it's
did,
going to work.
Sarah. And I think the judges were so aware of that, that you stuck to your guns, you waited on that horse, and that's what you had to do. And you didn't push, you waited, you fixed it up and waited, and got the results you wanted. And of course, when Sarah went to the saddle, man, her skills shine right there. I mean, the way a Rain Cow horse champion, rides with Chris Dawson, rides with Richard. I mean, but boy, I tell you what, shining like a new penny when she got up in that saddle, riding one the way you're supposed to ride it, not pulling on them, not hanging on them, not troubling that horse, just helping that horse.
Craig and I have talked. We talked this morning actually about how you've been so even kill. From the time you walked into and I said it earlier, from the time you laid eyes on those horses, to the first time I tried to talk to you on a microphone, to the time that you started this process and it continued in round number 2, you have been so cool, calm, collected. You've never wavered.
You don't think she gets that from Richard, do you?
Well, no, there's a difference because she's cool, calm, and collected. Richard's just boring. Kidding. One of my favorite people on the planet. But has that been a conscious effort, or is that just how you do things? I guess the question I'm asking is it difficult not to want to push the pace and to stop yourself and go, this is what I'm doing?
It is, especially in this setting, it is difficult to not want to go to the next step right away. But you got that time limit, and so if you push it too soon, you're really going to put yourself behind. And as far as the stoicness, people ask, are you nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous, but I think it's all in how you handle those nerves. And showing for a living, I think, helps a lot. Always being in front of crowds in the show pen and stuff, and so it's like you kind of learn to block that out.
Got that mental game down.
It's a lot of mental game. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I know there's some mental game going on today. It is a championship Sunday. We've been very impressed with the first 2 rounds, and I look for nothing short of spectacular here in round 3. So good luck.
Thank you.
We're going to let you go get ready and get prepared. Sarah Dawson, thanks.
Sarah, great
Appreciate
work. Put it on them today, girl. All right.
She talks about nerves.
Well,
maybe the most nervous person in the round pen is the guy that was standing over there watching the interview, the guy that
Richard,
we've seen win this competition. Her pen wrangler, Richard Winters.
Well, you were talking to her about her demeanor and stuff, and that's called experience. I mean, she has so much experience, and they show on a regular basis, and the game is so mental that you're able to stay cool, calm, relaxed, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and she's really got that under control. And I tell you what, her experience really came through yesterday, and man, she did a great job. And today, could be her day if she can put it together one more time here on Championship Sunday.
He's not standing here anymore.
Yeah.
How great is Richard Winters? What a great human being.
I tell you, he's a great guy. You know, we call him the gentleman cowboy. You know, a great horseman, a great human being. He is just a great ambassador for all of us in the cowboy world. But a great guy.
You can tell that whole family loves it. And I think that's why we love that whole family. I think that's why.
Talking about experience, we got another cowgirl here who's put on an incredible show all week long, not only in her horsemanship, but in her heart and her tenacity, her toughness, and that's Vicki Wilson.
Vicki, we're going to bring Vicki in here right now. Maybe the most impressive display of Road to the Horse 2017 happened outside of the round pen, and that has been the perseverance of this young lady from New Zealand. We're impressed. Like, I've just got to say, how difficult has it been?
Yeah, it's definitely unexpected and a little tougher than I was planning on Road to the Horse being.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what cowgirls are, and it's what the competition's all about, isn't it? It's about digging deep and not giving up.
How are you feeling?
Last night was a little tougher than the night before. Yeah.
And today might be a little tougher.
Yeah, it's feeling it.
But is it all worth it?
It's worth it just to walk out there, walk into that yard with Kentucky, knowing that the entire stadium, all the Road to the Horse fans are behind every one of us out there. That's what we all go in there for.
Talk to us a little bit about Kentucky. You've aptly named that horse. I think that's a great name, Kentucky. Talk to us a little bit about how he's felt the first 2 rounds and what you see for the future for that horse.
Yeah, like he's a pretty incredible little horse. We obviously were looking for a more of a jumping English type of horse, and that's really what he's proving to be. Like when he pops over those barrels and he jumps an obstacle.
He looked good out there now.
That jump is very natural, very powerful, and very correct. And that's just going to show that we managed to pick a horse that we feel was very close to home and what we were looking for.
You got what you wanted.
We did get
That
what we wanted.
doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, and ideally he would have been a little braver and a little more curious because he wasn't those things at all. But I believe yesterday that he really conquered a few things himself, and I think he's going to start to feel like he can do things and try new things and feel good about himself.
Well, I tell you what, I think you're creating an incredible bond. That horse, again, I think he was looking for it to begin with, but you had to prove it to him the whole time. There was a lot of work to get him where you have gotten him, but I love some of the stuff. She's been very different in her approach a lot of the time. And again, I love the leading work, the leading exercises, where y'all really partnered up right there, got that forward movement, and then you used that to actually cross those obstacles and really develop that confidence and get him going the direction you wanted him to go.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important that he's looking to me. He wants to be my best friend. He wants a scratch. He wants a rub. And I believe that when we go out there, we have to be equal partners. I don't want to have to make him do something he doesn't want to do. And yeah, there were some tough moments yesterday. I had to push him through a lot of things when he quit and he said no. And I was like, no, buddy, we need to do this. Because I know how tough today's going to be. And he kind of dug a little deep, and we came out of that. And then he started to go, okay, I can do this.
There's two great individuals in that round pin that are doing the same thing. They're having to just push through. And I mean that. Like, I have been so thoroughly impressed with the way you have changed. Yeah, obviously this wasn't part of the plan. And I'm assuming that had this not happened, there would have been a lot of changes made in your process. This has definitely changed some things up.
Hugely changed. My entire plan has changed.
Yeah.
I've had to adapt and go to some new methods that I hadn't even really thought about. But when I got in there, I was like, the things I normally do aren't going to work. And I really like putting the halter on yesterday. I was struggling at the start.
You're learning as you go.
Yeah.
You're having to learn different ways, and that's something that if you're at home on the ranch and you're working and you're starting a colt, you can't just quit. Things happen, and you're pushing through and you're finding a way. And
well, I think there's absolutely no backup in this girl to begin with. And again, her plan was good. I love the way you brought the other horse in. I do that a lot myself. Just have another horse in there. And again, that makes that horse more comfortable using that herd instinct. Then you used him as a kind of a leader horse to get that forward movement. I think your plan has been working perfectly to adjust to fit this particular horse.
Well, he's naturally a follower. He was a follower in the herd. He's a follower on the ground. Like, he loves loves me leading beside him and that support, which I think is going to be incredibly important today for that obstacle course. That if we do get a little bit stuck, I know that if I jump off, he's right there beside me. He's going to give it his all.
Your sister is an author, a
Yes.
tremendous author, and I asked her yesterday if her next book was going to be about a one-armed cowgirl. You think the odds? I mean, you think the wheels are starting to spin a little bit?
I think it would make an interesting journey, an interesting story.
It has been an interesting journey for all of us to watch what you have accomplished here, and man, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a fan. I am sincerely a fan. So thank you for what you've done, and thank you for the man, just
Well,
the
I
heart
tell you
that
what,
you've showed us all the first
she
two
has
rounds.
won the crowd, and you need to do it one more day. This is Championship Sunday, and we are definitely wishing you the very best.
You know what else you need to do? Go get some ice on that shoulder, and we're going to let you go do that. So good luck today, Vicky. We're all going to be watching.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you.
What an inspiration.
Well, I tell you what, Vicky Wilson, what a great gal. And I tell you what, still a smile on her face. And when I talk about no backup, I mean, I don't think there's any quit in that young lady.
She is a great ambassador. Being from New Zealand, and I've got to imagine that if you didn't know who Vicky was before she got here to the States, that you're watching the first two rounds going, wow, that's a cowgirl.
Yeah.
She might be in an English saddle.
Yeah.
She might be from New Zealand. But everything, I'm from Oklahoma, okay?
Yeah.
I got to admit, my version and my idea of a cowboy might differ from people on the East Coast or the West Coast. My cowboy is like you, like my grandpa. You know, that's my vision of a cowboy.
Well,
That
I tell
girl
you
right
what,
there is a cowgirl.
You know, it's about horsemanship. It really wasn't about the girls yesterday. It was about horsemanship, and she's all about horsemanship. And wow, is she making progress and breaking through with that little horse out there.
It was about females for the opportunity to break down walls and show everybody that it's not about females, it's about horsemanship. And we saw that yesterday. The best part of the whole event so far to me is the fact that every once in a while as a commentator, as a host, I'll say, you know what, folks, you need to be on your feet saluting these competitors right now. Yesterday, I didn't say a word.
That's right.
And as that time started to tick away, every person in this arena in Lexington, Kentucky started standing on their feet because of what these four competitors, these four horsemen showed us.
You know what they showed us? They showed us heart, and they touched people in their heart with the passion and love that was just in this building yesterday, and they got the standing ovation, and they certainly deserved it.
It's amazing, and it's so obvious that they have a passion for these horses because they know that as competitive as these four ladies are, they're only half of the equation. The real stars, and we say it every year, are the horses, and the horses from the 4-6s they're special. They're special in a way that we can't even describe. But I got a young lady that can describe how special these horses are. I'm going to bring in Miss Chelsea Burson. Chelsea,
Hi.
the horses, once again, they've kind of stolen the show. As incredible as these girls are, these horses are something special to watch.
Yes, sir. They are. They've really impressed me. I've been very happy with what I've seen with all four of the colts. I know Dr. Blodgett's been very happy with what he's seen, and I'm excited to see what they can do in the obstacle course.
They've impressed you, and I've got to believe that you see a lot of colts come through there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my husband works for the cattle division, and he rides a lot of horses for him. He's rode a lot of half brothers, half sisters, even to some of these colts, and it's really neat to get to see him even a year older, because he starts him as a 2-year-old, and it's neat to see him doing what they're doing as a 3-year-old, and what we the little that we've done with them at the house. It's really neat to see.
The cool thing about Road to the Horse is it's a unique opportunity for fans and horse lovers to have a chance to take home one of these colts. That's not an everyday occurrence.
Right.
I mean, I can't just show up to the 4-6s and say, I want to buy that colt. But essentially, that's what happens here at Road to the Horse. And I think there's still some good ones left.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've gotten all of the 8 horses remaining sold except for 4, and there's 4 great horses. I've actually got some pictures of the 4.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, the first one is number 2. It's a Rockin' W. It's a Mr. Jess Perry mare, so it's actually got some racing blood in him. He's a great colt. My husband actually, this was my pick. I wouldn't say it before when I got up here to talk about him, but this mare, she's an incredible mare. She's produced a lot of really nice colts. My husband, like I said, he rides a half brother. He's actually showing him at the AQHA World Show today, and he's a really neat horse, and you can't go wrong with Rockin' W.
So the genetics are there. The
Absolutely.
genetics are there in all of these colts.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
It's just they're just waiting for the opportunity.
Right. And the next one we've got is number 6, Country 6 Gun. It's actually a Sixes Country. Dr. Blodgett had a neat story. Sixes Country was actually conceived here in Kentucky. We brought his mama up here and got him bred got her bred to a stallion that lived up here in Kentucky. I'm not real familiar with that background, but Dr. Blodgett had a neat little story about it, and then the mare is also a great producing mare on his bottom side.
So here we bring this colt back to Kentucky, where it all started, and now he can start.
Absolutely.
It's new life. This is the one. Actually, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip forward.
Okay.
We're going to go to this one.
Yeah, number 10. He's a really good-looking colt. I've had a lot of people come up and say they thought he was beautiful. I'm really hoping he gets to a good home. He's out of Mr. Plain Stylish, who his daddy was Plain Stylish, and we stood him as a stallion there for a long time. But there he's a beautiful horse. He's he's actually on his bottom side. He's got a stole. It's a Stoley mare. That's some barrel racing blood, some running blood there, but another nice colt.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that. That's a good-looking colt.
Well, they're all good-looking. They're all bred to be really good horses. And they don't just breed them for conformation. They breed them for their mind. And they're using the correct mares, the correct studs. And Dr. Blodgett puts these pairs together, and nobody's better at it in the world.
Let's talk about this 4th colt.
The infamous number 7, Boone's Knockout.
I can't believe this horse is still standing back there.
He's got as many fans. He's not even in the round pins, and this colt has as many fans as anybody at Road to the Horse.
I mean, he had everybody on their feet the other day when we ran the Remuda.
As much of a showman as Dan James is taking notes from number 7.
Absolutely, yeah. He is a show off. He's got great personality. Obviously, everybody
That's
got to see that
what he's got, his personality.
Yes.
And you know those horses that show that personality, to me, they're always very intelligent.
Absolutely. Yeah, he comes from great bloodlines too. He's out of Boone Sand. One of the girls is riding the horse that Vicky Wilson's riding is a Boone Sand. So they're out of the same daddy, and I think whoever gets him, he's gonna.
Somebody can still buy this horse.
Somebody can still buy this horse.
Our
yes.
4 competitors have been so busy in this competition, they don't know this. I guarantee the girls don't know that that horse is still available.
I'm looking at this picture,
and
I just mentioned those curious horses, those horses with personality, have intelligence, and you cannot tell me that is not an intelligent look right there. That is a great horse, and he's going to make somebody a super horse. The girls shied away from him a little bit, not because he was not a great horse, because they thought maybe for this particular event he might be too much. But I've talked to a lot of good hands back here who thought that would be the horse that I would have picked no matter what.
The only reason that horse isn't in a round pin right now, he's a little too lively for a condensed amount of time. It's all about time. That's the only reason
he
he's
might
not
have
here.
been perfect. Who's to say? Yeah.
But that's the only reason he's not in a round pin is because these girls were thinking time, and that's a horse that over time.
All the horses that are left, again, they're from the 4-6s. They're from one of the foremost breeding programs in the world today. So every horse is a good horse, and it's a great opportunity for somebody to pick one up.
Yes,
How do they do that?
So they can come up to the 4-6s booth, obviously, and talk to me about them. We'll talk about prices. I've got a phone number for all of those who aren't here that might be interested.
Write it down right now. Type it in.
I'm in the game for selling these horses, so I've got a number, and I'll repeat it twice. But it's 806-782-5948. Again, that number is 806-782-5948. So they can call and visit with me and try to get these horses a good home.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
What a great opportunity. Great opportunity if you are a horse lover, promise you, there's 4 you're going to fall in love with pretty
Yes,
quick.
sir. I hope they go fast. So if anybody's interested, dial that number and give me a call.
I'm amazed that it's Sunday and they're still here.
I know.
Chelsea,
I know.
They're probably lined up in the booth right now, so we're going to let you go, Chelsea. Thank
Yes,
you so
sir.
much. And again, if you're interested in one of those 4 colts, stop by the 4-6's booth, call that number, talk to Chelsea, give these horses a good home. Thank
Yes,
you so
sir.
much
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us.
having me.
Well, I tell you what, we finally got Dan
happening?
James in over here. So,
I'm really gonna
Dan,
start drinking
you're
now.
late again. Yeah.
Mate, we've got other things to do than just this broadcast.
Wasn't just a haircut.
Hey,
Oh man, yeah.
I know that mine looks a little thin when I take it off this way, but if we were facing the other direction,
We look pretty similar. But that's my barber's fault. I tell her I like it short back there, and she cuts it too short.
that makes sense.
Anyways, this just ruined my morning. We were having such a good
That was
time.
good. Yeah. So,
Believe it or not, I actually have some other things to do today.
I believe it.
And most of all, I'm going to go be a fan. I'm going to go be a fan and find out which of these 4 girls is going to be crowned a Road to the Horse World Champion. One thing we haven't talked about is the winner gets $100,000.
you're right
kidding?
about that. Yeah. I know
Is it too late to get
100,000.
in? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? If you really could talk those girls, I mean, they're going to love the money, but they're here for the title. They're here for the buckle that says World Champion, a title that can't be taken away from you. But the money is a fringe benefit, and that's a pretty good fringe benefit, $100,000.
It's icing on the cupcake.
Yeah.
It really is. Because
It seems to have increased a little bit since you and I did it.
Yeah, definitely increased from the old days. You know, so.
guys, I'm going to get out of here.
Matt
I'm going to go to
West,
work.
thank you,
Mike.
partner.
Good
Okay.
to see you, my friend.
Okay. I don't know if I like you in my seat, Dan.
Let's get. I think we do the whole swap.
Okay, we're going to do the swap here. Okay. A little shuffle. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay.
All right, now I feel back at home.
All
Have you done
right.
any shout outs this morning? Because my mum has been watching us
Yeah.
live back home in Australia.
Oh, she has?
Yeah, she has.
Well, hello to her.
Yeah, yeah. G'day, Mum. Hope that you're enjoying the broadcast.
Well, yeah, then again, it's good to know it's going all the way to New Zealand right there.
Australia. You don't even
I
know
thought the
me.
landmass had joined again, so yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, you need to spank this boy right here. So, okay. All right, well, we're still rolling on, and we've talked about what a tough, tight event. We've had Vicki Wilson in here. We had Kate Newbert. And right now, we're going to bring in Rochelle Valentine. And Rochelle, come on in. And, I tell you what, you've had great work, but I guess what everybody's going to be talking about today were the penalties levied against you were part of the rules, and you knew it. I guess you knew it the moment it happened.
Yeah, I absolutely did. As soon as I stepped off that horse and he got out again, I was like, oh,
What exactly
that's going
happened
overtime.
there, Rochelle? Because I missed it. I kind of seen the end result of it, but
He was probably
what
late
happened?
again. Tell us exactly what happened. How did that happen?
Well, I'd ridden him out into the big area, and I wanted to get him moved out. That's why I took him out so early, because he was a little bit sticky. I wanted to get him flowing a little bit. And then when I brought him back in, he rode back into the round pen, and I went to shut the gate, and his head was in the way, so I decided to step off, because he's been so good at stepping off, I thought he would be fine. And he ran out the gate. So, and then once he was out there, he didn't want to go back in, so I got stuck out there for another couple minutes.
And those minutes cost you,
They cost
and
me big
that's the
time,
way
yeah.
they do it on time. So what's going to be happening is today, when she works, and then the other girls will have 45 minutes, and you're going to have 37. But, I would just put that out of my head and just go out there and just work with the time you got. Is that kind of your plan?
My plan is that he's a more cold-blooded horse naturally, so I'm going to use that energy instead of working it out of him in the round pen on the ground. I'm just going to saddle him up and climb on and send him forward, and then when I get out in the big arena, I'm going to get out there sooner.
You're not even going to jip him around at all, huh?
I'm going to get on and I'm going to spank him on the butt and make him lope around, and then I'm going to get out in the big arena and go for it.
Now, do you agree with that, just getting on? You're not even going to move him around before you step on?
We'll see when I get in there, but right now that's my plan.
Really? Okay.
I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let's put it that way.
Well, he's a big guy, and I might move you around a little bit.
I might do that. We'll see.
You know, one of the things that I found from my experience in here, I guess we'd always kind of grown up back home with the mentality that once you got on it, and if you were ready to open the gate, you had to kind of ride it out.
Yep.
And that was kind of like that, I guess, kind of mentality that we'd, kind of got. And then I came to the first event like that, and luckily enough, it kind of played out okay for us. But then after watching some of the other guys here getting off and walking those horses around this arena that little bit,
yeah, and that was the thought too.
I mean, that just turned out to be smart.
You're trying to fit that particular horse, like you're saying, that horse. But again, her time is a little bit more limited. So again, there's several ways you can address that. But the main thing is to go through all the things you have to do. Going forward on the ground, backing up, picking up the feet, and then after that, walk, trot, and canter on command, and then after that, going through the obstacles. But I think you got him pretty well prepared. It looked to me like on the obstacles.
Yeah, I feel really confident going into the obstacle course. Yesterday I was working on just building his go forward thought off of, asking him to go forward. And today it's going to be more keeping him going forward. And I need to really establish that in his mind that I'm not breaking.
Sean Patrick is your pen wrangler. And, I know y'all had to be disappointed a little bit about the penalty. But, again, you're looking forward to the date. Has he given you any suggestions?
Yeah, absolutely. Sean's been great. He basically just said you need to step into that horse, which is what I've been thinking too. Step into him and make him keep going instead of just letting him keep breaking. So.
Well, I tell you what, it is Super Sunday right here, and so I know your aspirations are leaving with that buckle. This has been a tough, tight race. What an amazing round yesterday. As out there as a competitor, could you feel the energy that was just growing and going before y'all got that standing ovation? Could you feel that?
Yeah, I do get a little bit in the zone when I'm out there, but I do feel it from the crowd, especially when fun things happen. You can hear the audience either boo or they're like, oh no, they get really into it.
Well, when Stormy Mullins came up here and had to tell about the penalties, poor Stormy.
I know, right. He was just the messenger.
But I thought that was really great on Michelle's behalf, when you spoke and you just kind of I think it says a lot to you as a competitor and your character when you kind of defend the judge's decision, even though that it's against you, so to speak. That shows a lot of character to
it wasn't
everybody.
The judge's fault.
Yeah.
So it was my mistake, and I'll pay the price for it. And today we're going to go in there and knock him dead.
Well, I think again, it's tight enough. There's enough points at stake out there to still win this thing. And I tell you what, talking about winning, you certainly won a lot of fans. We're certainly fans right here. And I tell you what, Michelle, we are wishing you the very best.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks.
All the best, mate.
Thank you.
Well, Rochelle Valentine going out there with a little bit of a handicap. But to me, adversity, sometimes that's what legends are all about,
Makes
to
you
come
step up.
You bet, step up to the plate. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that big grey horse, I've been running through my mind what each of these horses is going to look like in this obstacle course. And I just can't help but think that big grey horse today is just going to, eat that obstacle course up.
Man, I hope he does. He was trying to eat that tarp yesterday. But he doesn't seem afraid. He seems gentle. But, I don't forget how he bucked that first day. So I'd like to see her warm him up just a pinch.
Yeah.
And then get out of there.
If she can get, like you said, getting moved out, and I think that the more of the most difficult thing, not just for Rochelle, but looking at him in particular, is going to be the trail, the trail part, where you have to walk, trot, canter.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
And get that part done first. I think if she can get through that and he moves out freely, I think the obstacle thing's going to be really easy for him.
Well, there's a lot of points at stakes, and talking about points and winning championships. Right now, we're going to bring in the reigning champ from 2016, get some of his perspective. Man, Was that a tough, tight race? Look how tight this race is yesterday. What a round they had.
Yeah, they all built right there at the end, and it's close going into it. I mean, it is anybody's game. It really is.
I think there's 8 points between first and second, 13 down to third, and then only because Rochelle received a few penalties, but she's still in striking distance as well.
Right. Yeah. If she goes out there and has the run of a lifetime, she could make a splash too. Yeah.
We were talking about sometimes adversity creates legends and stuff like that. So there's always opportunity and opportunity knocking for all the girls. Yesterday, like, who were you really impressed by? I mean, you could say all of them for sure, but who really caught your eye yesterday?
Sarah. I knew Sarah was going to be game. She's an awesome competitor. I mean, I see that on a monthly basis. But she did one heck of a job of getting her horse ready for today, I think. And she's got a lot of control. She's got a lot of movement there. I thought she did really good, because that horse, that wasn't an easy horse.
No, it was not an easy horse, but I mentioned that once she got in the saddle, boy, did she shine like a penny. Now, her skills really were apparent, and it was shades of Nick right here going out with that big soft rein, a lot of float in that rein, making those small corrections, guiding, not pulling, really helping that horse. And boy, did she look good. And she scored a 4.08 yesterday. That was a big round.
Yeah, it's a big score.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think she's set up pretty good for today. And then Kate too. Kate's got a lot of control. She doesn't have as much forward as Sarah, but her horse isn't as worried about the obstacles as Sarah's. Sarah's is kind of naturally a little bit more hesitant, where Kate's isn't. So, I mean, that kind of equals them out.
What did you think about Kate not going out of the round pen yesterday?
Well, I think good for her for feeling something in there and sticking to it.
Yeah, and that's what she said. Yeah.
I mean, if she's obviously knows what she's doing, and if she felt something in there that said don't go out, good for her.
Yeah, she told me she was a little nervous about maybe getting him back in and then getting levied a penalty, which exactly happened to Rochelle.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
that was an interesting tactic that she did bring up, just like what you guys are talking about not coming out, because don't want to say that it's a complete disadvantage, but we all know what it's like. Those colts know where that out gate is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and if you're on this end of the arena and you get out here on a colt that gets really stuck down this end, well, you're right here next to that gate.
That's a strong magnet.
Yeah, versus the other half of the arena, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Then you're pulling it back to your round pin. Yeah, I never even, honestly, I never even thought about that last year. I kind of headed right for the gate because I wanted to teach him how to leave the gate.
Yeah.
So that's where I used my half of the time. I said, this is great. Let's go to the gate, and then I teach you how to leave, and then that's going to pay huge today.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Vicki Wilson. She went in there, again, very courageous with, working wounded over there.
Man.
And I tell you what, to me, it hardly phased her performance at all. I thought she did a super job on the ground and in the saddle.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think if there wasn't a lot of talk about it, I don't think anybody would have known. Just like you said.
No.
I mean, she went out there and did her thing, and she really built and got a lot done right there at the end. She really built through the round.
I like the way she used the escort horse, brought that other horse in there to establish that for forward movement, and then of course she just chunked the barrels out one-handed when she got done.
I think that was like one of those plays of intimidation.
Well, I was intimidated.
It worked.
Yeah. But I liked her leading work, sending the horse side by side with her over those obstacles.
Yep.
And then of course she got mounted, and boy, that horse was really natural on the jumping part too.
Yeah. I kind of had a hunch just with her background that if she got matched up with the right horse, that the obstacles and that part of it was going to be a no-brainer.
Well, I think the horse just become inspired just being around her.
Yeah. Well, they pick up on that feel. All right, well, I guess we got to ask Nick, any predictions who the champ's going to be?
Oh, man, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. If I'm going to be honest, I'm thinking Sarah's.
Yeah.
with all that forward and all the control she's got, and just knowing what a awesome competitor she is, just because I get to see her on a lot of times. I'm kind of leaning towards Sarah, but it wouldn't surprise me if any of them could pull it out. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, I think you're right. You know, once Sarah gets in that saddle, I mean, she's something else.
She is. I mean,
she's got the look. She's got the experience. She's got the feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if things go her way and that horse stays as solid as he did yesterday, she could be a big threat to win it.
Yeah, where she competes all the time. I could see if she, let's say she had just a little bobble, it ain't gonna phase her.
Yeah.
You know, she's
gonna, got that mental game down.
She's got that mental game where if one obstacle didn't work, she's gonna brush it off and she's gonna kill the next one.
Heck, we've all seen the photo of the cow coming at Sarah, so I mean, really, it's no big deal.
Right, exactly. Well, that's a perfect example. I mean, that run, she could have safetied up and you know, not been in the, not win it, but she gritted her teeth and went out there, and then she went and had the biggest run of the fraternity. That was the biggest run.
You know, last year at this time, you were the guy sitting back there waiting for the final round to go. You know, and so it's a pretty recent memory for you. Last year at this time, what were you thinking about and what were you feeling?
I wanted to go out there and just go do it. You know, I felt like my horse was ready. I really built a lot of good things in that second round, and I was just ready to go show it off.
And kind of like Sarah, you know, you compete on a very regular basis, but again, Kate Newbert competes in the cutting, and so again, she's a strong competitor.
That's what makes it so interesting, and Vicky as well. They're all competitors. I'm not saying Sarah is got an advantage there, because they all do, but I've seen Sarah time in and time out. That's why I tend to know her.
Well, now who's your pick for today? That's what I'm put him on the line too. So
yeah, I mean, it's always easy to ask this question, isn't it, than then trying to respond to it.
Heck yeah,
it's the answer that if we all had to put $100 down right now, that would make it tough. You know, look, I think that just geographically wise, I've got to go with Vicky. You know, on this, I mean, that's just, I don't have any really good reason to say any one of the girls as to who's going to, you know, take this home, but I think that's just going to be probably as close to it. If I had to put money down right now, that's where I'd have to go.
It's not because she's from down under?
That's what I just said, geographically.
Oh, well.
Come on, man, get with the program.
Well, that's what makes it so exciting is we could make an argument for all of them, and nobody could really argue against it.
Exactly.
It's that close.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it is that close, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the history of the Road to the Horse, points-wise, going into the final round, it is the closest right now. So.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen it this close.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's virtually, it's a clean slate.
It's going to be a clean slate.
It's a difference of one obstacle.
Exactly. Yep.
And there's so many points at stake right now going into this round. I mean, this is the big round, obviously, and Tootie will have some pretty, you know, no telling what's going to be out there on the course.
I kind of think today what's going to make it or break it is the obstacles, but I think the rail work, because there's a lot of points at stake in the rail work. And if they can get their horse handling through that rail work, that might be the difference maker. Because a lot of them seem like they do the obstacles pretty well. So,
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Nick, man, appreciate the input. It's so good to hear what you're thinking and feeling out there. And again, it helps everybody. Again, you are the current champ, but we won't be saying that pretty soon. All right, thank you, Nick.
It's good to visit with you.
Yeah. You know, I love visiting with that guy. You know, he just brings in just a good feel, and he really has a great perspective of what's happening and not happening out there.
You know, like yourself, that, you know, not only in horsemanship, but then as a cowboy, I mean, you know what it's like to have that competition mind.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I think that Nick brought again here to us this morning. I mean, being such a great competitor at such a high level, you know, again, every time you get to talking to you guys that have, you know, competed at that level consistently, going out in that competition arena, I think, just really plays a big part in it.
Well, a big part of it is your confidence. You have to believe in yourself and what you're doing. You know, when I rode bulls for a living, you couldn't go there with any doubt at all. You know, you got to be telling yourself, hey, this is my day, this is my game, I'm here to win, I can do it, and I know that's going to happen for me. You know, you got to go out there with that much confidence, and that might sound cocky, but sometimes cocky will get you to the winner's circle.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you.
I think that one of the big things, and I think you brought it up the other day, is that mental side of it, of like pre-seeing what's going to happen, closing your eyes, thinking about
that
how it's going to feel.
visualization,
knowing what it's going to kind of look like riding down that fence, what that horse is going to feel like as you get arcs to the left or that right cantle, what it's going to feel like when you pick up on his face. I think that part of it is so important to this.
Well, you know, I think all great athletes these days use visualization, and what you want to visualize is everything positive. So to feed yourself that, you know, all these gals have a pen wrangler, and if you watch them, they're really using them not just to hand them stuff, but to, you know, as part of their strategy. So right now, let's bring in Rochelle Valentine's pen wrangler and partner Sean Patrick.
Well, hey Sean, how you doing this morning?
Good morning to you, boy. It's Super Sunday. It's the big day. Everything leading up to this day, and again, boy, a little disappointing yesterday because of the fines levied against you. How are y'all dealing with that?
Well, actually, it's planned right into our game plan. I don't know if you remember the last Super Bowl.
Yes.
We're going to Brady their ass.
There we go. You know, we were just talking about confidence, and you know, that's what you got to have. And we were talking about how adversity sometimes creates legends and brings the cream right to the top. So y'all just going to deal with it that way.
Yeah, actually, we feel, I mean, obviously we're not wanting to be behind in points, but our horse has learned how to go forward. He hasn't stayed forward, but he's learned some signals. He's been ridden through several good obstacles. He's quite calm and easy to saddle. We've worked on the feet and picked them all up. With the exception of the backup and staying forward in the lope by herself, I think the rest of it should be pretty much set up. So once she gets out of that round pen quickly, she'll probably have to train a little bit to set him up. And then if she does her job right and steps into him, yesterday it kind of looked like she was being a bit passive, and her thinking was, set up that signal for forward and have that kind of taught. So initiating forward started working for her. The challenge was just keeping it.
Now,
so she may be rewarded a little too long, but
with that forward movement, you know, yesterday I noticed she was using the saddle strings and the reins. Is she going to stick with that technique, or is she going to use like a little dressage or whip or crawl?
Yeah, she's going to use a dressage whip to keep her hands forward. The saddle strings are great when you're colt starting in a round pen because they're easy to drop and they're not too heavy.
Exactly.
But when you're pointing their nose over an obstacle, it's better to have your hands a little more freed up and not reaching back. So she's probably going to use her dressage whip.
I agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of using a dressage whip. I mean, one thing that I actually brought up with Chris Cox yesterday, I think that I love the dressage whip, but at the same time, I think that what can be effective in the beginning, like you guys are just talking about in the round pen, and that is like the end of your, lead rope to kind of, so it doesn't sting them and make them kind of mad. But once you get past that and they're going forward, then to have that dressage whip, it's kind of like so easy, just the flick of your wrist, and you're right there to help encourage and go forward.
I think it's a more natural way to create that forward movement. And again, that becomes an extension of your arm, and again, just easier for that horse to respond to that.
Yeah, and yesterday she had the horse really thinking forward off the tap. It was just maintaining it. So that's our challenge today, but I think we're I wouldn't mind riding her horse through this challenge.
I know you wouldn't. Luke said the same thing. So, but Sean Patrick, hey man, great work.
Thank you,
we're
guys.
Pulling for you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. It's gonna be a fun day.
All right.
Okay. Right now, we're gonna bring in one of the guys that's so important. One of the judges, Cody Lambert.
Hey, Cody.
Good morning,
Good
Cody
morning.
Lambert. All right.
Good morning, Craig.
I'll tell you what. This is you've always. How many times you been a judge here at Road to Horse?
I think this is 7. It could be 8. I am.
Now, what do you think about the girls? You think they're holding their own?
I've seen girls in here before, and they've always done well. And yeah, they're not taken it down a notch. I'll tell you that.
That was a pretty exciting round yesterday out there. I mean,
There's a lot of stuff happened yesterday, and the first round was interesting too. There was a lot of stuff that was happening, and it was just like the men. It's not a gender thing. It's a reaction thing, and they've all got an idea and an approach, and then they've got to adjust to the horse that they got.
You know, as a judge out there, you're having to watch everything. That can be a little difficult because as much as happened yesterday, it's almost like you're trying to look at every direction at once.
It is that way, but it's an hour and 45 minutes. It's not like you've got to watch all the action in a few seconds or a few minutes. You've got an hour and 45 minutes. So you do have to miss some things because there's 4 round pins, and you've got to focus in on one or two at the same time. So there are things when we walk around that I might have seen that another judge didn't see, or that another judge saw and really liked or didn't like that I didn't see. So there's going to be that. But today, the final day, we're all watching the exact same thing at the same time.
That's a good point, yeah.
And we're watching the final day. We're not watching the final product. I mean, we don't know what these horses are going to make, but we know at the end of this contest and at the end of their first starting session.
Cody, at this point, without seeing today's round, if you had to pick one of the 4 horses to ride right now yourself, do you have one in mind that you'd like to step on?
Well,
or not like to step on?
You know, that's a really good question, Dan, because the horse that I think is the girl that I think is winning is the horse that I'd like her to ride him for a few more months before I got on him.
Talking about the horses, they certainly didn't sugarcoat it. I mean, these horses are as tough as any of the horses that the guys have ever done.
Oh yeah, they are, and they're good horses too, and they've changed too.
Yeah, they're making big changes out there.
Yeah, they can change. They've changed, but they don't have them. They're not done yet.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That there could be something that unexpected happened today.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the deal when you're riding them the third day too. You know that you know where you left them.
That old third day syndrome. Yeah.
Well, you know where you left them, but you also know like third day to be saddled.
A lot of times the third day, they get a little sore sometimes. They're not used to being cinched up or being rode. So, sometimes they can get a little froggy on that third day. So, you never know what to expect out there. So, well, Cody, again, we know you're one of the directors of the PBR. We're always honored to have you here. You've lived a cowboy life from beginning to end. You've been in the championship circle yourself. Made the national finals many times. I tell you what, it's such an honor to have you at this event, and I think you just bring something, add something to it. And as a judge, I don't think we could ask for anybody better.
Well, thanks. It's a real honor for me, and and all the things you're talking about, what I have done had nothing to do with training horses or breaking horses. Horses were involved in stuff like that, and I really admire what you guys do, and I admire what these girls are doing. And it's a really nice change for me, and it's something that I take seriously, and I really enjoy doing it, and I'm going to do it until they run me off.
Cody Lamry, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, now there's a real cowboy for you right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
When I say he brings something to it, he brings that authenticity, that genuine thing to it. And a guy that, after so many years of judging here, he really knows what to look for. He really knows this event. He's been instrumental in adjusting a lot of the rules. So we've been really lucky to have people like Cody Lambert, and of course all our judges. We have Jack Brainerd, a legend out there, and they'll be awarding the Jack Brainerd Award for the best horseman out there this week. And again, all the prizes, that go with it. But more than anything else, the title, champion, world champion, greatest colt starter in the world. And, these girls, that's something they're really wanting to take home. And, the title would fit any of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, this has been such an exciting event, and we're down now to the finale, and I don't think we can gild the lily enough. I mean, yesterday, boy, if they can approach any of the excitement that we ended up with yesterday, I mean, this is going to be a super event. It's tight. The points are tight. The girls are incredible. They're geared up. They're ready. They know what's at stake.
It's going to be almost a photo finish. It's, you know, all the noses are going to be right there on the line.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited. I'm going to be as close to the action as I can be. And Dan, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to work with you. Likewise, as usual. Mate. Hey, I'm Craig Cameron.
I'm Dan James.
We'll see you at the championship round of Super Sunday here at Road to the Horse.